Hello, and welcome to this lesson. Today, we're going to study different things: modal verbs, frequency adverbs, and the use of if and when for conditionals. Let's start with modal verbs. Modal verbs are special verbs that can transform the meaning or sense of the verb, the action. They can transform them into a command, a suggestion, a possibility, etc. Modal verbs are one of what I call key elements. It means that if you want to create a negative sentence, just add not after the key element, in this case, after the modal verb. And if you want to create an interrogative sentence, a question, you have to interchange the position between the key element and the subject. Like these examples. These are the modal verbs that we are going to study. Can and could. They express an ability. Can is for the present and could is for the past. They can also express possibility and permission. Could being a little more formal or polite. Should expresses a suggestion, a recommendation. Must indicates that the action is mandatory when it is a command, same as have to. You can also use must when you have an assumption. For example, where are my keys? They must be in the car. May is also used to ask for permission in a very polite form. Might is used when there is a small possibility, a slight possibility for the action or event to happen. Will is used to indicate future. We will see that later. You see what I did there? Shall is also used to indicate future, same as will. But it's also used to give a threat and to make an offering, like in this case. Would indicates the result of a condition, or even a desire if you think about it. Would is also used to offer or accept something in a polite way, like in a restaurant. Ought to is another way to indicate a recommendation, and it's also used to indicate that the event should happen because you have the right to it, and you deserve it. Let's apply the golden rule to the modal verbs in order to create a negative sentence or an interrogative. That is all about modal verbs. Let's move to frequency adverbs. Frequency adverbs indicate how often something happens. These are mostly used with the simple present, but they can be used in other tenses too. The thing is that they indicate the frequency of an event. In a sentence, the frequency adverbs go before the action, the verb, except in the case of the verb to be, in which case you have to place them afterwards. Look. These are some of the most used frequency adverbs and their meaning. Always, usually, often, sometimes, hardly ever, rarely, and never. Frequency adverbs answer to the question how often, which means how frequent the action or event is. There are expressions that also indicate how frequent an event is, and they are commonly mentioned at the end of the sentence. Finally, you can join a cause or condition and a consequence by using one of these words, if or when. You can also use a modal verb to indicate the action to do in case a certain condition is met, like this. And that's all, my students. I hope you could understand this lesson. See you next time. Goodbye!